Never fear of missing out by clicking that subscribe button and becoming another member of the Babylonian family. Good day, Babylonians. My name is Songs of Raids, and I'm back with a slightly different video to bring to you today, where we look at the top 5 things that I would change in Outriders currently. There are a few other things that I do have on my list, but these are currently the top of that list, the cream of the crop that we're looking at, and that's just purely while I buy a little bit of time just to be able to get you some of the more build videos, to get you some more ideas as to how you can have fun in this game, and different ways that are just different from the meta. Now, I will be doing a Technomancer Firepower build at some point, just to show you what I normally use to be able to carry friends, or to be able to carry a few people through the levels, and just to give you my take on what the best build currently is. You'll see some kind of variance of it in the gameplay in the background, but there will be a separate video for that, so keep your eyes peeled for it. On the subject of that as well, at the end of the video, because we have hit that 200 mark for the subscribers, I did say we would do some kind of giveaway, and you can find out the details for that at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that and find out how to get yourself involved and potentially make yourself a little bit. It's just something free, because that's our way of giving back to you as a community, and we just want to continue to grow. So take that from me and the team. Thank you very much for everything you've done so far. It really has put a smile on our face, and we do look to be able to continue and just keep bringing you that quality. But without further ado, let's get ourselves into number 1 on my list. So number 1 on my list today is going to be a nice buff to the tier 3 mods that come with the weapon crafting, because we have so many that are really good when you look at it, like Dark Sacrifice, Killing Spree, Embalmer's Rage, Winter's Blast, just so many. There's loads, and when you really think about it, some of them are not necessarily viable, but they're still pretty good, like the one with the Sandstorm on the Air to the Desert. But at the end of the day, the ones that really stick out to me are the ones that inflict some kind of status. Now, when it comes to Ash and Freeze, I could probably get away with those, because, let's be honest, it freezes the things in place, and also you're able to get some kind of damage bonus off them. And you are able to get, in some cases, some kind of extra damage with most of these, but they don't offer any kind of like stopping power in terms of like putting the enemies in their place. They don't stop still. They still continuously fire at you, and it almost feels like a complete waste just to be able to put this kind of perk on. Now, I know that the meta originally was to be able to have ultimate bleeding bullets on, to be able to, with Vampiric Mag, just to be able to keep your blighted rounds, your fire rounds, and your twisted rounds, all just to keep those going and just keep them active all the time to be able to restock your mag. But we've moved past that in some kind of capacity. I know that the Technomancer, for example, does not need toxic bullets, ultimate toxic bullets, just to be able to keep their thing better refreshed, because their build already has that built in, so they don't need that. So it would be nice if we could get some kind of buff to these. I mean, I'm happy with the fact it refreshes every single second, but even if it was just something to the damage over time, just to be able to make them some kind of viable to compared to everything else like Dark Sacrifice and Killing Spree. I'm not necessarily saying they need to increase their own damage or something, but maybe if there was some kind of like stacking kind of procedure for the damage over time, maybe there's a way that we could get some kind of status power build going, because all of a sudden you can stack Toxic up 5 times, and you're only able to do that with this mod rather than like relying on your blighted rounds, for example. I'm not saying that's definitely what should be the case, but that's just like an idea off the top of my head, and I feel like that would be a nice way. So we could, if anything, it would be nice if we could get some kind of like stacking when it came to status, and just make status good rather than just kind of seeing it as some kind of utility that's just always there. So next up, my number 2 idea is to have the Devastator get a bit of a rework. And now, I do think in the majority, I think the Devastator is great. I don't think it needs to be changed by much, but I do feel like it is a bit lacking in solo and team play. So I know I've heard some people suggest that the Devastator should get some kind of rounds-based skill that maybe inflicts bleed, because obviously their build is to do with bleed, and I don't think that's the best way to go about this, because I like the idea that the Devastator doesn't have a rounds-based skill to fall back onto. I like the idea that it isn't a DPS at heart, and the fact that it can rely on its own skills is just perfect for me, and I think that's what makes it unique and just keeps its own character. So I would not suggest anything like that, but when you look at all the other kind of skills that it has, Earthquake Gravity Leap, Impale, Tremor, Boulder Dash. Those are all similar-ish. They're all designed to be able to interrupt like elites that are trying to cast skills and all that. But none of them really stand out in terms of like being massively unique. And some of them are just downright poor. Like the Boulder Dash isn't a terrible ability, but it's nowhere near as good as Earthquake. And the legendary sets to be able to boost these just by reducing the cooldown by 90% for Boulder Dash, I don't think it does enough. And I think the Devastator needs a bit of love. Tie that in with the fact that Reflect Bullets is a great skill. And it was perfect back when the demo was around, because the easiest way to be able to farm was put this on, inflict bleed, inflict 50% more damage to the highest health enemy, things like that, and you just wipe out every single rifleman that was in front of you. It didn't do much to elites, but it was great for mob clearing, which is exactly what you needed back in the demo to be able to do farming. But when you go into expeditions, it doesn't have the stopping power behind it to make it into your 3 skills. The Golem skill is perfect, but when it comes to Reflect Bullets, the Devastator needs aggro to be able to benefit from this skill. And there's currently no way for the Devastator to be able to draw any aggro, to be able to crowd control any units, to be able to focus fire on himself. So it just kind of gets thrown by the by. And I would love to see this skill just get a little bit of a boost by forcing the CPU to be able to focus fire, whether it be solo, whether it be team play, just focus fire every single thing into the shield and then be able to throw it all the way back. And I think if it just gets a little bit of a tweak, if the Devastator just gets a little bit of love, then I think it could be just equally and on par with all the other classes that use their round space skills. So number 3 on my list is to do with the legendary set pieces for the armor. Now, it used to be a lot more difficult, and it was a lot less rewarding for the fact that when you got some of these legendaries to be dropped, that you'd just be a little bit gutted. Some of the tier 3 mods that you were able to get from disassembling were great, and they were perfect, and you would take some of them with you, but in terms of wearing 3 pieces of the same armor set, you just wouldn't be interested, because it wouldn't benefit you in any kind of way. Now, for example, when it comes to a Technomancer, there are 2 that really stick out, and that is the Plague Sower and the Grim Inventor. And the reason why is because the Plague Sower just gives you some damage reduction for 5 seconds, which then stacks up. Now, it doesn't mention how much it actually does stack up to. I'd like to think if it because everything else mentions some kind of limit, then maybe actually will go up to the point where you can actually be invincible if you're lucky enough to be able to do so. But you don't need that when it comes to this game. You're looking to be able to complete the expeditions as quickly as possible. You want a nice damage boost. You want a reason to wear this legendary set, other than the fact that the tier 3 mods are pretty good. Now, Splash Boost on the Plague Sower's Skull, for example, is a really good mod, and I use that on my Firepower Technomancer all the time. But when you swap over to the Grim Inventor, and the Grim Inventor's mask has Rocket Man, and it just gives you an extra 3 rockets in your clip. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to use. It's nice to have, but the set bonus behind it, where Tool of Destruction is active, a confirmed hit with the Pain Launcher refills 20% of your ammunition for both minigun and RPG, and that, granted that it fires enough rockets, but why would you ever use this over something that can just give you a flat damage bonus, like the Borealis kind of build? And you wouldn't, and I don't think it's ever been viable, these other 2 sets that I'm talking about. So it'd be nice to see them get some kind of love. Maybe make it so that you get a 5% damage reduction and a 5% damage bonus per stack of Toxic as an idea. Give it something like that, and they still decay after 5 seconds, but it gives you a reason to be able to maintain the Toxic. It gives you a reason to keep it going, and then it kind of fits in with the theme of the Plague Sowers and the Splash Boost and all that kind of thing. So, and then when it comes to the Grim Inventors, I don't know if 20% is enough, or the fact it can only happen once for each tool of shit. I think if they took that away, it would still be kind of balanced, or maybe just a little bit underused. Especially when it comes to the rocket launcher, you don't get much ammunition in that in the first place. So the fact that you could just potentially have an unlimited rocket launcher to go through, I don't think that would be overpowered at all. The fact that you've then had to put down your primary weapon to pick up a rocket launcher it's fine. So I just wish it got a little bit of love. There's other things as well. There's other set bonuses that are out there. These are just me showing off for the Technomancer, but there's one for like the Devastator, which gives you Boulder Dash cooldown by 90%. I think that's a little bit on the lazy side. I do feel like that could do with some kind of bonus to it. Maybe where it emphasizes the fact you're using Boulder Dash. Maybe it gives it like just Boulder Dash, like a damage boost, or gives you an extra piece of armor when you finish it, or you know, things along those lines. And I just feel like some of the set bonuses could just do with a little bit of love. At number 4 today, I want them to give the pistols some kind of love in this game. Now, when people went out into the demo and they saw the Torment and Agony, everyone was just up in arms as to how good it looked, how good it was, how useful it was. But when you get to the expeditions, pistols drop off massively, and I don't think that's that's a good way to go. There's a reason why you have that backup there. There's a reason why you're able to fall back on something. And I know there's Moaning Winds builds out there where you put Moaning Winds on all 3 weapons, and by the time you've probably done all 3, Moaning Winds will probably be active again on your first one. I get that, but why should they just be down to a single mod? Why can't we use them as a single damage outlet? I'd love to be able to go through this game with just pistols with their unlimited ammo, just having a little bit, having a laugh, dual wielding, or maybe even the revolvers. But when it comes down to it, the range on these is kind of pitiful, and the damage fall off is huge. It goes from, like with the revolvers, it goes from hitting like a truck, like a single shot rifle, to barely anything and just tickling the enemy. And I just don't. I think they could do something more with that. I think if we increase the range a little bit, or made the damage fall off not so harsh, they could really make this kind of fun and make it a fun play style, give us a little bit of variety, and just allow us to have just go out there and just have as much fun as possible with the pistols. Let's give them some love. There's a reason they've made these guns for us to look at. They've made these guns for us to be able to play with. They just need to give us a reason to play with them, and the meta goes a bit stale when you're just using an Earthborn assault rifle, like myself. I know full well. But when I got to do the weapon guides, it was so fun, it was so fresh. I got to try things that weren't meta, I got to try them out, all that kind of thing. And when it got to the pistols, I was really excited, but every single time I was kind of let down by the fact that I just couldn't do much damage. And I want a way to be able to take a pistol into a CT-15 and still complete it. And I've yet to do so because they're just kind of pitiful for the time being, and they just don't fit into any kind of build as far as I'm aware. So hopefully we get some kind of buff to them in the future. I think out of all the primaries or anything like that that's out there, or any kind of type of guns, I think it's the pistols that kind of need some kind of love. Everything else is kind of in an okay state or balance. It's just that. And last but not least, I want some kind of training area or some kind of test dummy that we can fire in the expeditions room before we go and choose into an actual expedition, where we can just mod things on the fly rather than actually going into a level, testing it out within like the first 10 seconds, going, this doesn't kind of work, and then just abandoning. I want it some kind of, like, whether it be like a firing range or whether it be some kind of dummy where we can change it from similar to how Division 2 kind of run it, I guess, where you can change if it's just like a standard enemy or an elite, how much damage like its health, etc., and see if it's something that we can just like work on the damage numbers that way, rather than taking our character into an actual expedition after we've modded stuff to then have to abandon when it just doesn't quite work, bring ourselves back out, go into the mod, go into another expedition, realize it's not working, come back out. It's just a tedious way, and I think it would be nice if we could just kind of like show off what our skills are doing, what kind of mods are working for us, and it would make things so much easier for content creators like myself or people that are actually just playing the game. So hopefully we get some kind of thing like that in the future, and if anything on the list was to happen, I think it's this one that I would probably, even though I've put it as number 5, it's still, I feel like this is the easiest to implement. I think this is probably one of the best ones that probably the community's asking for, and I'd like to see this kind of implemented in the near future. And that is it, Babylonians. That is to the sum of this video with the top 5 things that I would like in Outriders going forward. Now, in no way, shape or form is this me criticizing the game. I genuinely do love this game, and I do think that the devs are doing a great job in trying to keep on top of things the best that they can, all things considered. And obviously this is a new IP, and there's going to always be teething issues, but I genuinely do think with the appreciation packages, with the community support, with the actual conversations they're having on Reddit regularly every single week, I genuinely feel that they are doing a great job and trying to keep on top of that. So this, my hat's off to them. This is not me like pooping on the game or anything like that. It's just what I would like to see if they ever get to see this video, what I would like to see going forward. So thank you very much for staying tuned to the end of the video if you have done. Like as Mid mentioned, the giveaway is going to be active from when this video is live. So the idea behind it is that there will be one winner, and this competition will run for 4 weeks. All we ask is that you drop us a like, drop a subscribe to the channel, and then just comment on some videos just to say that you're having a great time, or just to say hi, or that you're actually just having a conversation about the content, and just letting us know that you are engaged and that you're just. Let's just start a few conversations. Let's start some conversations between subscribers. Let's start some conversations between everyone that's there. We currently only have a 10% people that watch these videos are subscribed to the channel, so hopefully we can boost that up a little bit. But this is our way of giving back to all that have currently supported us, and anyone going forward that will be supporting us in the next 4 weeks as well. So at the end of the 4 weeks, we'll choose someone random that's subscribed, that's dropped a comment onto the videos, and essentially we'll give them either a £20 or whatever kind of currency or bracket that kind of gift card is for Steam, Xbox or PlayStation, depending on the platform that they play on. So for example, if they're in America instead of the UK, then we will give them $20. If they're in Europe, then it'll be €20, etc, etc. And it really is that simple, just to be able to try and earn yourself a little bit of store credit, just to be able to put towards your favorite kind of gaming platform and some more games for your collection. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today. I hope you're enjoying the channel and all that it's kind of bringing out at the moment. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, favorite and subscribe. And as always, keep yourself safe, keep yourself well, and I'll see you on that next video.